me, Bernadette. I'm back with the new learnings about India. For today's video, I will share about what India has on their country. Before that, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more updates of my videos. So, let's begin with the definition of Indian literature. Indian literature are writings of the Indian subcontinent produced there in a variety of vernacular languages, including Sanskrit, Prakrit, Pali, Bengali, Bihari, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Malayalam, Oriya, Punjabi, and etc. So, among others, as well as in English also. So, the term Indian literature is used here to refer the literature produced across the Indian subcontinent prior to the creation of the Republic of India in 1947 and within the Republic of India after 1947. So, I will be discussing now the Indian literature. To begin with, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was leader of India's non-violent freedom fight against British rule, as well as a civil rights champion for Indians in South Africa. Gandhi, who was born in the India town of Porbandar, studied law and organized boycotts against British institutions as a form of civil disobedience. And in 1948, he was assassinated by a fanatic. So, next is the story of my life experience. This story is one of the famous works of Mahatma Gandhi that tells us a story of his life from childhood up to adulthood. Gandhi's autobiography is divided into 5 parts, each with its own chapter and a conclusion. So, in a part 1, gives us Gandhi's birth, childhood, and teens, and also in the time on England rather. So, he influenced as a kid by his religiously tolerant political official father and devoted mother. So, in part 2, that is tells us about his time in South Africa where he goes to work with a law firm and he gets kicked off a trade due to color prejudice, and which is what he calls racism. And he decides to fight back non-violently, of course. And he continues studying religion and founds the Natal Indian Congress. So, in part 3, Gandhi develops his spiritual practice of self-restraint by taking the Brahmacharya vow of celibacy. By now, he's had his 4 sons, all with Kasturbai, and develops his political power by leading an Indian ambulance corps in the Boer War. In part 4, has Gandhi fighting the Asiatic Department in Transvaal, giving legal advice to Johannesburg, India's inland acquisition cases. So, he organized an Indian volunteer corps for the Great War and more. So, he tells us about his religious studies, his experiments in diet such as fruits and nuts only, and also his thoughts on the Brahmacharya vow. In part 5 shows Gandhi at the height of his political power. He founds the Satyagraha ashram in Ahmedabad, secures help for peasants in Champaran. So, fights that Rowlatt legislations, suspends Satyagraha after people become violent, edits newspaper, and gets a non-cooperation resolution passed by the Nagpur Congress, and that just some of what he does politically. Next is Mahabharata. Mahabharata is the great epic of the Bharata dynasty, one of the two Sanskrit epic poems of ancient India. The Ramayana is the other one. So the Mahabharata is an important source of information of the development of Hinduism. And the Mahabharata is an ancient Indian epic in which the main story focuses on around two branches of a family, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, who fight for the throne of Hastinapura in the Kurukshetra war, and the different minor stories about persons who are dead or alive, as well as the philosophical debates, are interwoven within this story. And also, it is the longest epic poem written that time. So, Mahabharata is one of the most important texts of ancient India. Indeed, world literature. Next is Ramayana. Ramayana is the Sanskrit Rama's journey, the shorter of the two great epic poems of India. The other being is the Mahabharata, the great epic of the Bharata dynasty. And the Ramayana was composed in Sanskrit. And Rama, the prince of Ayodhya, married the lovely Princess Sita, but was driven for 14 years with her and his brother Lakshmana due to his stepmother's scheming. So Ravana kidnapped Sita in the forest, and Rama collected an army of monkeys and bears to track her out. So the allies launched an invasion on Lanka, killing Ravana and rescuing Sita. Sita endured fire to prove her innocence, but was justified by the gods and returned to her husband. Rama's righteous rule, or the Ramraj, began after the couple's glorious return to Ayodhya, bringing in a golden age for all people. Next, Little Black Sambo by Helen Bannerman, born Brodie Cowan Watson, was a Scottish author who wrote several children's novels. The most well-known of her work was Little Black Sambo, and she was born in Edinburgh. And because women were not allowed to attend British universities, so she took the exams, or the external exams, administered by the University of St. Andrews, earning the title of LLA. And her spouse was an officer in the Indian Medical Center, and she spent most of his time or life in India. And the story of Little Black Sambo is somewhat alike of racism. Also, we have Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is a massive white marble shrine made in Agra between 1631 and 1648 by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his beloved wife. It is India's crown jewel of Muslim art and one of the world's most appreciated work of art. We have the Hindi language. Hindi in 1955 was designated as the official language of the Indian Union. The Indian Constitution declares Hindi written in Devanagari script to be the official language of the country. And I have one word of India as an example of their language, and that is Namaste. Means I bowing you, or I'm showing a respect to you. So we're done on the last literature, what we called Indian literature and their materials and facts. I hope you are learned by this discussion and gives you a lot of learnings that you will use in your further study. Hope to see you soon. Thank you and goodbye everyone. Stay safe.